Can I just say the part that's really hard?
Sure, of course.
The hardest part is that, like, for my whole life, I've been praised for it. Like, society kind of praises you.
Yep.
Um,
Thanks for bringing that up.
so yeah, it's just hard, like, to stop. It feels like a habit. I mean, all compulsions probably feel like a habit, but like often people are like, "Oh, you're so organized," or like, I don't know, "Your house is so clean," or yeah, you. I don't think people ever say you never forget things. That would be a weird thing to say, but like, I'm just thinking, like, even my dad, what for the speech he did at our wedding, he was talking about how, like, I've always made lists and I've always been so organized, and like it's one of the things that people see as like a really positive thing. So that's partly why I think it's so like ingrained in everything that I do.
Yeah, so I mean, detail-orientedness, organization, and conscientiousness are often attributes that people that also have OCD commonly have. So I like to think about this as like OCD is hijacking the value that you already have, and so detail-orientedness is a value that you have. Organization or is a skill set. Organization is a skill set, and so we're not going to try to make it so that you're never organized or that you're not detail oriented. We're just trying to undermine the OCD, the way in which the OCD has control over this feature of your life. And so I would start off with the silliest stuff you can come up with. So the part of your list that is like, I have to remember to shower, or any other task that you do every day, no matter what. That's where you'd want to start in terms of not tracking that and then kind of poking fun at your OCD if it gives you a feeling. You can also start with like anytime you have the urge to do something more than once. So if the same task is on either more than one list or it's in the same list
Mm-hmm.
more than once because it feels really important, that's really a cue of like, um, I'm doing this because of the feeling, not because the list is actually helpful to me. I also think with not just right compulsions, you can start with stuff that's relatively benign or silly, like starting with not doing the dishes perfectly right after dinner is a great place to start. But I'm wondering if as I'm bringing this up, are there other features of the list making or the not just right compulsions that are like pretty silly or benign that will be easier to challenge?
Yeah. Well, when you were saying that, I was thinking like I have multiple lists in my phone, and some things are repeated on more than one. So things like that.
Yeah, that would,
Yeah.
and I think if you go with like, I'm only going to have one list, you might notice that sometimes when you feel anxious, you have the urge to make another list
Mm-hmm.
rather than take action on one of the tasks.
Yeah.
And catching that might be a game changer for you.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, those are all really good suggestions for like exposures I can start with.
Great. Yeah. And start there and see what you learn. And you don't have to do that perfectly either. It's all just like data collection and learning.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a good place to
Okay.
start. Do you want to say more about relationship OCD?
Yeah. Um, so last week, my husband and my daughter and I were on a like family vacation, and we were staying with some friends. So that was just hard in general. Like living with people that you don't normally live with is hard. So, and they have little kids as well. So it was just kind of after a couple of days, a stressful situation. So I started to notice. Well, at first I didn't notice because I find with relationship OCD, sometimes it's hard to catch it.
Yep.
Um, so at first I didn't notice that I was being like really sensitive to everything that my husband said. But
And
then,
just for the listeners, I would just want to clarify what relationship OCD is. So
yes.
relationship OCD is an unwanted intrusive thought about that typically revolves around themes like, what if I don't love my partner, or what if my partner doesn't love me? When it's not a relationship issue, when some part of you deeply knows that you love your partner and they love you, and you're not actually having a relationship issue, your mind is just feeling uncertain about the possibility that there's a relationship issue, and then it grabs onto that and kind of pings you anytime there might be any version of any kind of conflict, it might say like, oh no, is that a problem? Is that a problem? Is that a problem? And it's kind of looking and scanning, hypervigilant for problems, looking for stuff that's potentially not there. Does that fit your experience?
Yes,
Okay,
definitely.
so tell me more about what happened.
Mm-hmm. I was just being sensitive to everything that he said. Like a lot around like our daughter. So if he would say anything like, why do you, like, if he said something about, I think it was like, why do you let her do that or something like that? Um, I took it immediately, or like my OCD took it as like, he's comparing me to the other two moms and he doesn't think I'm a good mom and I'm not a good mom. And then like really spiraling. And like you said, like he doesn't love me. And a couple, like it probably went on a couple of days. And then luckily I realized that it was my OCD. And once I did, I was able to use what I learned last summer. And that helped a lot.